I'm just starting to realize that for a long time, and this is just my theory on things, this is not some sort of clinical diagnosis or anything crazy like that, but for a long time, I think I was afraid of success, afraid of being successful. And what I mean is, not afraid of not afraid of getting there or being at the point where I think is successful. But that's relative as well, isn't it? What is success? But what I mean is afraid to put in the work, because with anything great, there's going to be a lot of work involved with getting there. And I think at the same time, afraid that success still wouldn't be good enough, or maybe afraid that I wasn't good enough for success or to be successful. I am no longer afraid. We are putting in the work. I am doing what is necessary, or what I think is necessary, to continue to get better and to continue to grow as a person. But I mean, what I think about is how many people acknowledge and recognize first and then acknowledge the fact that they are afraid to be successful. Something to think about.
I'm taking applications right now. I need more hands. What the fuck is going on? You amazing motherfuckers. And we are in a China shop back again. You want to advertise for somewhere? www.advertisement.bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. What the fuck is the week? Stop taking fucking pictures. The public is going to be hosted by yours truly. High lonely time. No.
Yo, you beautiful motherfuckers. I'm assuming you're beautiful somewhere, outside, inside, hopefully both. Episode 47, creeping right up on 50. Episode 47 of the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast, the first and only podcast dedicated to the bull breeds and the American bully lifestyle. This week, I've got a couple of things I want to talk about. I see a couple of things floating around and people are misinformed on, and it really drives me fucking crazy. A couple of things happening over and over and over again. Dogs dying from heat strokes left and right. Whether it's from the actual heat stroke from overheating, whether it's from, a heart giving out that people didn't know was bad before they got hot and died, keeled over. Whether it's from a soft palate, elongated palate, whether it's from not being able to breathe from that elongated palate, whether it's from anxiety and stress from not being socialized or introduced to these kind of environments. We're going to get into all that. Also, health testing. There's a lot of talk going around about health testing and quote unquote bully people, whoever the fuck bully people are. Quote unquote bully people not health testing their dogs. We're going to get into this pretty deeply. But most of that health testing shit is a scam. Anyway, I had two people that we were trying to get things schedules worked out with. Actually, kind of have to reschedule for later on in the week, so those will be late upcoming episodes of the podcast. I also had a couple things to talk about as well, so we're gonna get into some good shit here, and we're gonna rock it out. It's gonna be a quick one. It's gonna be a solo one. It's gonna be me and you, honey. You guys ready? Okay, first of all, heat strokes. The best way for you to be able to the best prevention of a heat stroke is recognition of the signs that your dog's getting hot. Okay? You have to understand if you have heavy, bully, massive dogs, whether it's a big American Bulldog with a smashed in face, Johnson style American Bulldog, whether it's a 50-pound English Bulldog, brachiocephalic head style, whether it's a 90-pound American Bully, 80-pound American Bully, short, thick, stocky. These dogs, I mean, the more weight you carry on these frames, proportions are a big deal. But the more weight you carry proportionate to your body size, the more susceptible you're going to be to overheating. It's same thing with people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that bull breeds and English bulldogs and American bulls are fat, but fat people sweat easier. Fat people get hot easier for the most part, generally speaking, than smaller people. We'll say slimmer people. This is speaking from fucking experience here, people. But these heavier built dogs, they are just more prone to overheating in this type of heat. Now, there's a few things that you need to be aware of if it's a hot day. Okay, you need to be aware of the sun, and you need to be aware of some shade that your dog has access to. Right? Now, if it's a dog that lives outside, you definitely need to have some shade for it, somewhere for it to go to get out of the sun. If your dog is in direct sunlight in the summertime, it is going to overheat. If it's bully, heavy bodied, well built dog, it is going to overheat if it is in direct sunlight all fucking day all summer long. Use your head. Access to water. Make sure the dog always has access to water, whether you're at a show, whether the dog's in the backyard, whether you're at the park. Shade and water, huge when it comes to summertime. Now, what you need to watch for, obviously, panting. Now, dogs are going to pant. Dogs are going to that's how they cool themselves anyway. That panting's going to happen. It's just like sweating for people. What you want to watch for is the tongue curling up. Now, a lot of times you'll see a tongue laying relaxed. And a dog panting, no big deal. That tongue starts curling up and becoming like a scoop in the front. Body temperature is increasing, so it's trying to cool itself down even more, exposing the bottom of its tongue. Now, if you see that, you definitely want to get your dog somewhere, fairly quickly, cool it down, get it some cool water and some shade. If you see your dog like hacking or what it sounds like they're trying to breathe through some foam in their throat, or they have some sort of foam building up, it's starting to get serious. If they're hacking up foam and trying to cough through the panting, it's starting to get serious. You definitely need to get them somewhere and start getting them cooled down. If you see your dog taking huge, slow gulps of breath, walking slow, acting disoriented, clumsy, tripping over itself, you are starting to get into a very dangerous, I like to call it the danger zone. You're entering the danger zone. Okay? Once this happens, you got a matter of minutes before you get this dog somewhere and get it cooled down. Now, being able to recognize the fact that your dog is getting hot is going to be the best way to prevent any of this shit from happening. Now, once your dog does get hot, you need to get it somewhere. If it's overheating, you can try putting alcohol on its pads. You can try putting alcohol up under its chest, try helping it cool down. You can also try, if you have shade, you have access to a pool where they can lay, a cool pool where they can lay in some water. Don't spray your dog down if it's standing out in the open sunlight. Don't spray your dog down with water and then walk away. Okay, you're gonna bake your dog. The sun's going to evaporate the water off the dog's body and make it hotter as it evaporates, especially if it's a darker colored dog. So, I mean, these are just things that you need to be aware of, and a lot of people aren't aware of that. A lot of people go outside and spray their dogs down, walk back in the house. Unless your dog has access to shade, unless your dog has access to some air movement, you're going to cook your dog. You're going to boil your dog. If you have concrete kennel floors and they're exposed to sunlight, that water, if there's not air movement out of there, that evaporation will be hot coming up off that concrete as well, or black horse stall mats or any of that kind of stuff. That water will get hot coming, and or evaporation will get hot coming up off those mats also. So just be aware of that kind of stuff. If you get in dire situations, you can wrap the dog's body in a cold towel, or not even dire situations. Wrap the dog's body in a cool towel. Try to carry a ice pack or something like that. A bag, if you have a cooler at the beach, get some ice around. Get a towel in there, get a blanket in there, and get it around the dog, or get some ice around the dog somehow inside a blanket, wrapped around them. Ice will help a lot. If it gets in dire situations where your dog is basically stroking out, you can and you should. I have before, myself and witnessed many other people in the past, put ice cubes up the dog's ass. It will save their life. I've seen it with my own eyes. Dogs with purple tongues that could not take a breath in, struggling, very close to death, overheated already, towels on them already, alcohol on the paws already. What saved that dog's life was ice cubes up its ass. I mean, sounds weird. Sounds like you're into some pretty sideways shit. I'm telling you, it works. I'm telling you, it'll be the only time I tell you it is okay to put ice cubes up something's ass. It will save your dog's life. Now, there's other reasons for dogs overheating than just I would call leaving your dog out in the sun with no shade, no water, no air moving. That's animal cruelty to me, but neglect at the very least. So besides the negligence of the owner, there's other reasons why your dog can overheat and have or what appears to be overheating and have a stroke. If your dog has a bad heart, if your dog has a heart murmur or some sort of congenital heart disease, that heart gives out, especially if it's in the middle of the summertime and your dog's panting and stiffening up and stuff, and I'm sure it looks like a heat stroke a lot of the times. So you want to definitely, and we'll get into this, you want to definitely have your dog's hearts checked. That's one thing I recommend to everybody. From the time they're 5 weeks old, 6 weeks old, when we do the crops over at my vet's, all the way up, every single time they go into the vet's office, that's the first thing that the doc does. That's the first place he goes. Stethoscope, heart, what's going on inside? How the heart and lungs sound? How are we doing? Same thing with a checkup from the doctor when you take your kids or go yourself. For they're thumping on your chest. I mean, I've never seen my dog thump on a chest before, but also another reason could be an elongated soft palate. Now, sometimes, especially with these bull breeds, a lot of times with these bull breeds, I've seen it a lot in other breeds actually also that aren't very bully, but a lot of times with these bull breeds, you'll get an elongated palate that impedes the free breathing that should be free breathing. Um, and there are surgeries that can have this removed. You can take it to your vet and say, I think my dog, have it checked out as far as the breathing goes. It will help your dog breathe, especially if you can recognize it young. Recognize the dog has a soft palate and get it removed, elongated palate, get it removed. It will extend the life of your dog, especially if you can get it young before all that stressful breathing, trying to breathe around that elongated soft palate. Um, the earlier you can stop that shit, that all that stressful breathing that causes damage to the stuff around that elongated soft palate also. And the earlier on you can get that shit handled, the better off you'll be. And the last thing is anxiety. Dogs being introduced to environment, not the last thing, but the second to last thing is dogs being introduced to environments they're not used to, getting stressed out, getting worked up, and then it being a little warm outside. But I've seen dogs get stressed themselves out to heat stroke in 65-degree weather. Socialization is such an important thing, especially for these bull breed dogs, because a lot of them have drivey temperaments, play drive, prey drive, whatever you want to call it. A lot of them have these drivey temperaments, and they get worked up fairly quickly. Socialization is so important. A rabbit runs by your kennels and all your dogs get worked up to the point where they overheat. That's a very possible thing, especially here where I live. Especially here. There's rabbits everywhere. The dogs are used to them now, but the first summer it was a problem. The last thing I'm gonna say is keeping a dog in the air conditioning and then taking him outside in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the day, to do a photo shoot or to do a video shoot or to do a breeding out in the middle of the day. You have the dog out. He lives in the air conditioner, lives in a 68-degree house. You're out in the 95-degree heat, 105-degree heat index for 45 minutes. Expect that dog to be able to survive. First of all, you just shocked the fuck out of its system. Just went from 68, just went from working to try to maintain a body temperature to now within 20 minutes working to try to maintain a lower body temperature. So it puts them in shock, a little bit of shock, and definitely can send a dog into heat stroke quickly. So without acclimating your dog to the weather, and without getting them used to being out in that, whether it's working them in the morning until they get used to it, or working them in the evening, or only taking them out for 20 minutes and doing little short quick exercises for 15 or 20 minutes and then going back in the house and letting them cool off. Just acclimating them to that kind of heat makes a huge difference. So prevention, the best prevention is recognition. You also want to make sure you check the hearts to make sure that that's not the issue. You want to make sure you check for the soft palate to make sure that's not the issue. You want to make sure you socialize to make sure that's not going to be an issue when you take your dogs out. And you want to acclimate your dogs to the heat when it does start getting hot. If they spend all year in that air conditioner and you take them out for a photo shoot 45 minutes, you're going to be dealing with a hot dog, a warm, overheating dog. Almost certainly. Now, if you guys haven't noticed yet, I have been pushing the Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV YouTube channel quite a bit. I just put out a new Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV commercial, little short clip from the Georgia show that we just did last weekend. All the podcasts on the YouTube channel are full length podcasts now. Videos coming soon. I don't have a exact episode when that's going to be. It's full video. Just trying to straighten out a couple of technical issues, I guess you would say. There's also going to be new vlogs. I'm trying to put out a new vlog weekly. There's going to be an event. Every time I go to an event, there's an event video posted. Stud features, kennel features, all that stuff. New videos every single week. Trying to post a video every Monday and every Friday. And the podcast, of course, is going to be published every Wednesday. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, get your bull breed and American bully lifestyle fix on the Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV. Okay, let's get into this health testing shit that's everybody's up in arms about right now, okay? This is one of those things that's going to piss a lot of people off. Okay, what I'm about to talk about is going to piss a lot of people off. Everyone has an opinion about it. I have my opinion also about it. In my opinion, most of this health testing shit, all the propaganda that you see pushed around the fucking internet about health testing your dogs is a fucking scam for people who health test to make money off health testing. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that there are no useful health tests. I'm not saying there aren't any health test that you should be doing as a responsible breeder for yourself and your breeding program and your kennel. What I'm saying is there's a lot of misconceptions and misinformation going on. And the reason I'm saying this, the reason I'm even talking about it is because something that I've been looking into for my own program. Something that I've been looking into. What do I need to make sure is healthy on these heavy bully massive dogs to ensure that they have longevity in life? You know what I mean? I'm trying to see 10-year-old American bullies, year in and year out. We should be producing dogs that we expect to get 10 years out of. Now, just like with people, you can't anticipate every random genetic thing coming up that when they're 5 years old and they're, now they have cancer, now they have genetic predisposition to cancer, some crazy thing. Like, this is the shit I'm talking about. A lot of that stuff you can't test for. A lot of that stuff you don't test your children for. You don't take your children down to the fucking health clinic when they're 16 years old and have them have their hips tested, their elbows tested, and their hearts tested, and their thyroid tested. I mean, you just don't fucking do it before you allow them to find a partner in life and mate and have children themselves. You don't do that. But everybody's up in arms about health tests, running 67 health tests on your fucking dog before you breed it. Get the fuck out of here, man. Now, for a lot of breeders, that saying they health test is a selling point and a way to cover their own ass when it comes to their contracts and different things and the fine print that's on a lot of their contracts. A lot of these, now even AKC, if you go look at the AKC website, you'll see, you can type in AKC health testing, okay? You'll go, it'll take you to a specific page. You'll go to the AKC site and you'll see each breed and what is required for those breeds. What health tests are required for those breeds, okay? And you'll notice that none of those, not any of those breeds have the exact same list of health testing. You see what I mean? Now, there's going to be There's going to be multiple breeds that have certain health tests that are in common, but it's very rare. I mean, of course, they're okay. Somebody's going to nitpick that shit. There might be a couple of breeds that are exactly the same. What I'm saying is, if you look down that list, you'll notice that there are different health tests for different breeds. That's because, each breed has things that it is prone to or predisposed to that you should be fucking testing for. But there are certain health tests that have a lot to do with the environment, how the puppy's raised, what kind of environment it grows up in. There's a lot of health tests that don't have shit to do with your breed that breeders are out here doing 100 different health tests on their dogs just to sell puppies when they know those health tests are going to come back good because they have nothing to do with the breed whatsoever. For 40 years, they have never seen a case of this in this breed, but we're going to health test for it because we know we're going to get a good score and we can use that to sell puppies in the future. We can use that as a sales pitch and a selling point in the future. Or the other side of that is, excuse me, the other side of that coin is a breeder getting, finally lining up after 5 generations of a certain genetic disorder, 5 generations of ataxia. They finally get a male and a female off of something that is clear for ataxia, and they sell you puppies or with the sales pitch that both parents are ataxia clear, knowing that shit is stacked up in that pedigree and is likely to come out. You see what I mean? So you just got to be careful. A lot of these people that are saying, "Oh, health testing." A lot of that shit's bullshit. A lot of that shit's bullshit. A lot of that shit is bull shit. I can't emphasize that enough. Now, the biggest thing is the hips and elbows, the joint testing. Okay? I've read 3 different articles. All you have to do is Google environmental effects on hip dysplasia. You will see multiple articles that will tell you the environment a puppy grows up in, how much weight it carries as it grows up, how slow or quickly you grow a puppy, how much food you feed a puppy, what kind of food you feed a puppy, the box the fucking puppy grows up in, the environment the puppy goes through adolescence in, all has factors that go into whether that dog is going to develop hip dysplasia. Now, I'm not saying the hip dysplasia is not a genetic thing at all. It is, definitely. But it's a much smaller percentage than what people would like to believe. Something like 25% or 30% is actual genetic cases of hip dysplasia. Something like 70%, and again, this is not, I don't have the article sitting in front of me. Maybe I should, and I will be able to find that if need be. But something like 70% of factors that go into determining whether a dog develops hip dysplasia are environmental. So hips and elbows, I have mixed emotions about it. I have mixed emotions about testing for hips and elbows because we could have two parents who have great hips, great elbows. They could produce a litter that in 2 years or 5 years, 7 years, all the dogs have hip dysplasia. If your environment was wrong growing up. Now, I'm not talking about early onset hip dysplasia. I'm not talking about 6-month-old dog with hip dysplasia. I don't know what, you'd have to definitely dig into the DNA of that to find out if that was genetic. And if it is, you want to get that out of there. But if you have 3 generations of dog that show no signs of hip dysplasia, and you have a breed that has no prior history of hip dysplasia, why in the fuck are you testing for hip dysplasia other than to say, oh, my dogs are HD clear? There are some tests that I would say are necessary for you to do as a breeder to cover your ass to make sure you are at least having your own back. You know what I mean? Now, brucellosis and canine herpes aren't what most people consider to be genetic health tests because they're fucking diseases. Obviously, okay, I get it. We get it. All right. Herpes is probably actually a virus. No, no. I have to look that up. I'm gonna look that up. Brucellosis and canine herpes, you definitely want to have your dogs tested for. If a dog on your yard tests positive for brucellosis, it is mandatory for the state to not only put that dog down. I mean, brucellosis is like canine AIDS. It is not only necessary for the state to put that dog down, but it's also necessary for them to come to your house and test every other dog on your yard. Do it yourself before it comes to that situation because they will put every fucking dog that even has the inclination, a little tiny smidgen of a trace of a remnants of a possibility that it has brucellosis, that motherfucker's dead. That's the harsh reality of this shit, man. You got to pay attention. You got to know what you're doing. Brucellosis, you want to have your dogs tested for. Canine herpes, you also want to have tested for. That can wipe out litters of puppies left and right. You can have an epidemic of canine herpes sweep across your kennel, and you won't have a healthy litter of puppies until you get that shit figured out. Now, as far as health testing goes, the hearts are the most important thing. Hearts and patellas. I'm gonna read you a quote from an article I read from PurinaProClub.com. Okay, I was reading about patellar luxation in bulldogs, and according to the PurinaProClub.com, patellar patellar luxation and heart disease are the starting point for recommended health testing. Okay? So, according to PurinaProClub.com, the 2 necessary health tests you need to start with as a breeder, as a kennel, as a breeding program are patella luxation tests and cardiac tests. I have my stuff checked for heart murmurs every time I go in, like I said, and healthy hearts, and just to listen to how the heart sounds. I've been looking into cardiac testing also, which I probably will start doing in the future myself. I am 100% going to be testing patellas. It's something that I've actually seen already in my program and something we're going to try to avoid in the future. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be testing in the future is the patella luxation. Now, as I fucking said about hip dysplasia and elbow dysplasia, a lot of it is environmental. I'm doing a bunch of research right now on it. I found multiple articles that said it's mostly environmental, multiple articles that say it's mostly genetic, multiple articles that say it's 50-50, coin flip, you never know. I've even seen articles saying you can't see it coming or predict it or anything. So definitely something I'm doing my research on and looking into. It's a touchy fucking subject, man. It's a touchy fucking subject. But anyway, I would say I agree with PurinaProClub.com. The first two things you should look into. I'm not telling you you should be health testing or shouldn't be health testing. I'm not going to sit here like a self righteous fuck on a soapbox and tell you you need to be doing this or need to be doing that. I'm not going to do that, man. There's enough people on Facebook and social media and YouTube already telling you that. You don't need to hear that shit from me. Read about it, educate yourself, make an educated decision, and go from there. All I want you to know is the basics and bottom line. Don't get fucking scammed by these clinics into testing your dog for 300 things that don't have anything to do with the breed. Of course they're going to come back great results. Of course. If you don't have maybe 3 or 4 breeds in the world, of course the ataxia test is going to come back clear. Okay? Now, there are some recommended tests if the breed and again, according to the AKC website, there are some mandatory tests that for certain breeds. Ataxia for certain breeds, which is a vestibular disease, loss of balance and coordination. Super sad stuff to see. It's just, dogs can't get control themselves. Patella luxation, like I said, even in breeds where even if you don't want to look at it as a base to start from, if you have a breed where that's in the breed, you might want to have it tested. Hereditary cataracts, HC. Also thyroid. I've seen a lot of, on the AKC site, a lot of breeds that had a thyroid test that was mandatory. Some breeds that have hereditary cataracts. I know in shorty bulls, that's something that they test for. That's something that they want dogs tested for, is the HC for the cataracts. There are some tests that you possibly need to be doing. There are some tests that, depending on the breed that you own, that you maybe should be doing. I'm not saying health testing is all 100% a scam. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, the majority of what the fucking media puts out and promotes and pushes, and what these fucking vet clinics put out and push and promote, and what these motherfucking self-righteous breeders standing on there or sitting up on their high horse are pushing and promoting and preaching is bullshit. There's no reason to test your dog for okay. These fucking people who preach testing every dog for everything are either delusional as fuck or making money off of you health testing. So let's think about who preaches testing every dog for everything. People who are going to benefit, mostly it's people who are going to benefit from you testing your dog for everything. You know what I mean? You got 20 dogs on your yard. It's like fucking dollar signs on a cartoon character when you walk in as a kennel to a new clinic and say, I would like to inquire about health testing. They're going to run every fucking test they can on every dog you'll let them run it on. You know what I mean? Most vets are set up on a profit system anyway. If they ain't making money, they're not going to be open. If they're not making, anybody, any fucking service that you get in this country, if you're not making money, it's not, obviously you're not going to be operating very long. So they're going to run every test that they can get you to run on every dog that they can get you to bring in there. It drives me fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Now again, the hearts definitely should be tested for. The patellas definitely should be tested for. You know what's crazy to me, going back to the hip dysplasia topic, people want to say that the show ring and show breeders breeding for looks ruin breeds. I'm going to give you one shining example of the American Bulldog. Okay, the American Bulldog was almost completely wiped out by hip dysplasia. And that's a working breed. Barely even gates around the show ring. They have American Bulldog shows where dogs have to be On a pinch collar, I just dropped my fucking notebook. Isn't that spectacular for the audio? The dogs have to be on pinch collars. I don't know if you've been around many American Bulldogs, not easy to handle. Almost taken out, working breed, almost solely working breed, hog hunting, protection sometimes. You know, hard-hitting dogs. Almost taken out by hip dysplasia. It has nothing to do with the show ring or the work, or, you know, whether it's a working breed or a show breed, or it's how you raise the dogs, especially dogs that are long-legged dogs, taller dogs. You know, the longer the legs, the slower you need to grow that dog. The lighter you need to keep it while it's growing. The more weight and stress and what do you want to call it? Impact you put on those joints as a young puppy, the more negative results you're going to see when they're a fucking adult. This is not rocket science, man. If you can't tell, this shit drives me crazy. All right, this is my last point. This is the last thing I'm going to say about it. And we're going to get the fuck out of here. Nice little quick episode this week. If the dog doesn't look the part, what does it matter how many health tests you ran on that dog? Coming from a confirmation standpoint, that judge in the confirmation ring is not looking at your health testing record. You want to breed good dogs? You want to breed shining examples of the breed? It ought to look like the fucking breed to begin with. It ought to be built like the fucking breed to begin with before you, well, maybe not before, but at least if you're going to preach health testing, you ought to have a yard full of shining examples of whatever breed you're preaching about. If your dog doesn't even look like that breed, what the fuck do I care how many health tests you ran on that dog? If your dog doesn't carry the breed type of the breed, what the fuck do I care how many health tests you ran on it? If the dog can't move like the breed's supposed to move, what the fuck do I care how many health tests you ran on that dog? 0. Now, it's going to piss a lot of people off. I don't care. People need to get their mind wrapped around the fact that breed type is paramount to everything else in life when you're involved in a confirmation show ring. Health is in there. On the list of important things, soundness is in there. Health is in there. Breed type is paramount. Number 1 at the top. If the dog doesn't look like the breed it's supposed to look like, none of the rest of that bullshit matters. Okay. We're going to do a product of the week this week. I haven't done a product of the week in about 6 weeks because the conversations that I've been getting involved in are fucking off the chain. I don't want to interrupt anything for some corny product of the week shit. I want to remind people this week about Neopar. Parvovirus vaccination that will save your fucking kennel's life. I'm telling you, the dog's lives. A lot of that 5-in-1, the parvovirus that get put in a 5-in-1 and the parvovirus that's in Neopar are different, very different. The one that you're putting into your dogs that's in a 5-in-1 is still reliant on your puppy's immune system up until about 16 weeks, which your puppy's immune system runs off the mom's immune system until the puppy's immune system takes over. With Neopar, as soon as this puppy receives Neopar, that Neopar vaccination kickstarts without the mother's protection. So it actually takes over and protects your dog from the parvovirus, and even a stronger strain of parvo, a stronger version of parvovirus, or however you want to put it. I'm not a fucking Neopar salesman. Go to the website, look up Neopar, Google that shit. You'll find out what I'm talking about. If you're not giving your dogs Neopar when they're puppies, you are leaving them open to the risk of coming down with parvo. I'm not saying there's never been a dog on Neopar that's come down with parvo. I'm just saying I've personally never seen a dog vaccinated with Neopar that had parvo at any point in its life. Again, that's a limited sample. That's a limited sample size. I'm just telling you my personal experience with it, and how most of the breeders that I know and deal with feel about it. If you're not using that shit, you're leaving your dogs open and vulnerable. Okay. Upcoming events. Where am I going to be? So far in July, I'm going to be a lot of places, but no shows. Now that's kind of depressing for me. Also, I've got to attend a friend's wedding party. I'm not going to do the actual wedding. Although I was thinking about expanding my horizons a little bit, maybe doing some wedding videography and photography. Anyways, different subject. But first week of July, I'll be doing that. Second week of July, I'm taking a trip to Texas to grab a puppy from my good man Ryan Wilcox down there. And the third week of July, I'll be going back to Atlanta to drop off a puppy from a collaboration I did with Atlanta Kennel. So as far as July, not a lot of dog shows in the schedule. Probably won't be one. August, first week of August, I am judging in the Bahamas. August 6th in Nassau. Maybe going back to Holland for the August 21st Holland event. Not 100% on that yet. I'll keep you posted. As always, every episode of the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast, the first and only podcast dedicated to bull breeds and the American bully lifestyle, is brought to you by Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. Any and all episodes of the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast can be found on Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com/blog. Go to the blog page. You can find the newest episode will be at the top of the page. The oldest episode, which would be episode number 1, is all the way at the bottom. All you have to do is scroll down the page. All of the videos, I have to update the homepage actually, that reminded me of that. All of the videos from the Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV YouTube channel are also on the homepage of Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com. So whether it's videos or podcasts you're looking for, we got you covered both ways. Stay right with us. Visit Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com, home of the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast and Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV. We are also brought to you by the Bully Embassy. The Bully Embassy is an elite group of breeders, owners, handlers, and judges from around the world. We have some of the most sought after dogs. We are one of the most sought after groups, exclusive groups in the bull breed community. You can find the Bully Embassy at your next event. Just look for the Bully Embassy tent. You can also visit the Bully Embassy on Facebook or thebullyembassy.com. Now, if you want to see more of Bull-NA-ChinaShop, visit Bull-NA-ChinaShop.com on Facebook, Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast on the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast on Instagram, Bull-ChinaShop Thai on Twitter, Bull-NA-ChinaShop on Snapchat, and obviously the Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV YouTube channel. You can find us on any of those. If you want, for inquiries about having Bull-NA-ChinaShop at your next event, or doing a video shoot or photo shoot with Bull-NA-ChinaShop TV, or promoting on the Bull-NA-ChinaShop podcast, email realtylumley@gmail.com. That's realtylumley@gmail.com. Okay, motherfuckers. That's it. That's it. That's another one. 50 minutes. Jesus, seems like a short episode compared to the last few weeks that we've had some crazy good conversations with Big Kev, Rolando Mata, pretty much everybody that's been on. I can't tell you how thankful I am, how much I appreciate everybody who supports the show. You guys are making shit possible that I never thought was possible. You're helping me open doors that were previously closed, and we're not walking in the door. We're kicking the motherfuckers open. It's a big boot to the door, flying open. We're walking in. We're taking over. Photography, videography. Actually, photography, listen, is going to be rough. Not very good. I'm decent. I'm all right. I get by. But there are some guys out there who are on a whole different level.
You want to advertise for somebody?
It's going to be tough. Videography is going to be tough also. I just like the challenge, man. I like the challenge of something new. I like, figuring out new things and making my brain work in new ways. Every day is just a journey to make today's version better than yesterday's version. Let's do this. I'll see you motherfuckers next week. I love your fucking faces.
Ooh, I think I just maxed it.